With an update on a WWE return and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Talking to Steve Fall of 10 Count, former WWE star Mojo Rawley was asked about if he and Rob Gronkowski were going to be a tag team. As he revealed, Rob was hanging it up from football. The plan was to do a tag match with me and him at SummerSlam because it was in Boston that year. I think we were going to work with Miz and John Morrison. They were throwing around some names. There was, potentially the Revival we were talking about. Obviously, it's their call, so they were going to do what they think. Any of those guys would have made that match an incredible match, and Rob was ready to come in and work. But yeah, he came in, he signed the contract. From Boston, I think I was going to turn on him, and then we were going to have the one-on-one, no DQ in Saudi Arabia, where my dad's whole side of the family lives, was kind of like the storyline. After I turn on him, you beat the crap out of me in my hometown in front of my family. I'm going to do the same to you in Saudi at one of these big matches, and I thought that was going to be dope. He would have had enough time to come in and train like, Bad Bunny and Logan Paul, guys that train every single day in the ring for 3, 4, or 5 weeks, and they're training for one match. They're not training for a different match every night. So when you're training for one match, you can get anybody there to go in and kill it with enough training if they have a good athletic pedigree, which of course Gronk has. That was the plan. But then I was sitting with him in his trailer before a Smackdown when Brady and Drew Rosenhaus called him and told him that Brady was, gonna go to the Bucks. Rob had, I believe, $10 million or more on the table to go back for one season left on his contract, and it was just like it was a no-brainer to come back. He was feeling good, he's feeling fresh, go back for one last run. Of course, they won a Super Bowl, so he made the right decision. I can't knock him for that. Speaking of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, AEW's Vickie Guerrero mentioned how she wants to do more as a manager in the company, saying, WWE was such a great role for me. I learned so much being a manager. Coming to AEW, I wish I had more opportunity to be in a manager role. I'm very grateful for Nyla Rose and Marina Shafir. We have a great time. We're the Vicious Vixens. They're fun to work with. I've presented ideas. I would love to manage more. This is what I do. I'm a manager, but I'm gracious for what I'm able to do now. If I was asked to do more, I would love to. I would love to play the Cougar on AEW. There's just so many opportunities that you can only ask, and if it's granted, then I would be happy about that. But for today, I'm very blessed. I work with two incredible ladies. With Nikki Cross winning the 24/7 title and then attempting to throw it in a trash can last month, Fightful would give an update on the creative plans for the belt. The 24/7 title hadn't been featured for quite some time before WWE effectively retired it. Since Triple H's regime took control of WWE, the 24/7 wasn't just put on the back burner. It was taken off the stove altogether. The title hadn't changed hands on television at all for the first 3 months of the new regime, but it had still been used. The title had still been used on numerous house shows despite not being on television at all. There have been several title changes, with one hotspot leading to a referee winning the title before it is eventually won back by Dana Brooke. A WWE source said that the title was almost never mentioned in a creative sense, but allowed for some fun moments for live event shows. The future of the title seems to be up in the air, and it wasn't something that we heard Triple H ever talk about. Dana Brooke had been competing on WWE Main Event fairly regularly and wearing the championship to the ring, while being announced as the champion. However, she wasn't booked in title defenses on the show, and there weren't been the traditional 24/7 chase elements before losing the title to Nikki Cross. Pro wrestling star Simon Dean, known for his stint in WWE promoting his patented Simon system, recently took part in a retirement bout, as Matt Cardona took to Instagram to write, "Honored to have been asked to wrestle in Mike Bucci, Nova, Simon Dean's last match." With a recovering from a back injury, former AEW Women's Champion Thunder Rosa provided an update on her vlog, noting that the recovery is going well. This week, I was just able to do squats with a 2-pound dumbbell. I haven't done any lifting for the last 4 or 5 months, which is huge. 2 weeks ago, I was able to do a 5K, which I walked half the way because I'm not allowed to run. I can jog, that's pretty much it. Those are big milestones for me. I have not been able to be in the ring yet, so we're working on that. On Cheap Heat with Peter Rosenberg, Sami Zayn touched on a segment with Roman Reigns from the most recent pay-per-view where he noted how he wanted this to take place on TV. For example, the one we had at Survivor Series, which I kind of wish that backstage that we had done was on television because I think it would have gotten, people would have been able to sit in it a little longer. Whereas, as a part of the thread at Survivor Series, it was a great piece of the totality of the night, but it got us to where we needed to go. If it was on TV, it could sit and breathe for a week, people could talk and dissect it. I was really pleased with that backstage interview where he would look me in the eyes to figure out if he could trust me. If you watch that back as I did, he sat in silence in a way that is very difficult to do, especially in a pro wrestling backstage. You don't get 45 seconds of silence in a backstage, but he did it and it played very well. Each second made it more agonizing and more intense. Obviously, it's not something you talk about like, okay, sit here for 45 seconds. His poise, ability, and confidence to hold that moment was very impressive to me. Taking to Instagram to show off her physique for a WBFF Entertainment Fitness and Fashion event where she placed first in fitness and second in wellness. Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair wrote, "For the past 10 weeks I have been training for the WBFF Entertainment Pro Atlantic City Pro-Am, and this weekend all of that hard work got to play out on stage. I'll be posting more photos throughout the day with results. Bikini made by me. This journey has taught me so much about myself and how much I have grown and evolved from that little girl in high school and college who was obsessed with being the best but took it too far and overtrained constantly. The little girl who had such an unhealthy relationship with food and struggled with eating disorders that even years later as an adult, I couldn't ever hear the word diet without being triggered. I wanted to push myself, test myself, see if I could commit without taking it too far, see if I'd learn to listen to my body, see if I could diet again and have self-control without going off on the deep end. I truly faced my fears with this one. I invested these 10 weeks to relearn myself, and it took me on a self-discovery journey of self-love, commitment, dedication. It was physically challenging with finding time to train consistently between my WWE schedule of being on the road for live events, TVs, traveling internationally to Mexico and Saudi Arabia, having historical matches like the ladder match, last woman standing match, and 45 minutes in a War Games match the week before the competition. It was so hard, but I gave it my all. Sometimes after my matches and shows, I was right there in the gym late at night, getting my workouts in, and constant travel with meal prep food to stick to my diet. But just as much as it was physically challenging, it was more so mental. I've evolved. I've matured. I do have self-control. I've learned the importance of balance, and I do listen to my body now. I've completely fallen in love with who I have become, and I will be forever grateful for this journey. Thank you, WBFF, for welcoming me with open arms into your world and providing a space where I could also show up unapologetically me, and a space I could use to navigate this personal journey. I felt right at home. Fitness plus fashion. I'm in, and thank you to my amazing coach." With rumors of William Regal set to return to WWE following his apparent exit from AEW, Fightful first noted this in regards to his contract with Tony Khan's promotion. "We don't have any details on the unusual length of the deal after he debuted back in March or any provisions associated. A WWE source said that it does not come as any surprise that William Regal is likely headed back because Triple H was very unhappy that Regal was let go in the first place. NXT sources had long told Fightful that William Regal was considered a lifer with that brand specifically, something that Triple H mentioned himself to us once. Those in WWE expect him to resume an advanced role similar to the one he had before, but that wasn't confirmed." Staying on the topic of William Regal, a potential time frame was given for his return to WWE, with it reported that in an update on William Regal, PWInsider.com is told that he is finalizing a new deal with WWE and is currently expected to officially start after the new year. Justin LaBar of Busted Open Radio would note this in regards to a claim that people in AEW weren't listening to William Regal's advice. "So what I'm picking up is Regal is done with AEW, back to WWE soon. Close with Triple H, but also his wisdom and coaching not appreciated / received the way you would think by some in AEW locker room who feel they have six-figure multi-year deals and Regal's advice is behind times or beneath them." AEW wrestler Brian Pillman Jr. responded, writing, "This is not entirely true. There are several of us, myself included, who spent multiple hours before TV working with Regal and learning from him. Should there have been more? Maybe, but he and Danielson always had a solid audience around the ring before TV. I know you said some. I just didn't want the narrative to be that he was just standing there preaching to the air. Some days there would be 10 guys out there soaking it in. Some days it would be just me and Wheeler and Lee. I didn't mind when his attention wasn't spread as thin. When it comes to The Rock appearing at the 2023 Royal Rumble, Ringside News reported that we reached out to confirm The Rock's Royal Rumble status. A tenured member of the team told us that there is no status update on The Rock. At this time, discussions are still going on, but nothing is settled. There are ideas for Rock in Rumble, ideas for Rock not in Rumble, ideas for Rock to show up elsewhere besides the Rumble. Right now, nothing is etched in stone until a deal is reached. In some unfortunate news, pro wrestling legend Barry Windham is suffering from health issues, as Mike Rotunda wrote on GoFundMe. With deep sadness, I regret to inform that my uncle, WWE Hall of Famer Barry Windham, suffered a massive heart attack Friday evening. While traveling through the Atlanta airport, his darkest fear became a horrific reality as he went into cardiac arrest. He is currently in the ICU and has undergone an emergency procedure to save his life. As a family, we are impatiently waiting to hear that he will be okay, but as of now, the future is uncertain, as is the future for many in his position, and for those who have formerly devoted their lives to their craft. Barry Windham has an iconically decorated resume as an American professional wrestler. He traveled all over the world for decades, entertaining people of all ages with his athleticism and undeniable charisma. After those countless years of wrestling matches, traveling and entertaining worldwide, he experienced a number of taxing injuries and ended up undergoing multiple surgeries that led to other health complications. Barry hung his boots for the last time in the early 2000s. Since then, he has been limited with work due to his medical history, as well as left without health insurance. To face these times is one of great stress and hardship, as well as that comes with extensive medical expenses he is taking on. That is overwhelming to say the least. We are politely asking for any increment of financial assistance to help cover his medical expenses and bills to see him through this time. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.